the Aurora Vi, like, that's such a shotgun fight, just doesn't really match. And the Renata wasn't super valuable in defending against full dive. There was the ability to get around the hostile takeovers or wait it out when you have things like the Rise, like the Rumble, and the Poke Pharaohs. So I just want to see a better approach this time around. And Raafaa, I got to say, taking away that Ezreal B3 ban by LGD against Team WE, that's frankly very warranted against WE and what Taeyoon's been able to do on that champion. So like that read from LGD.
Yeah, I mean, if you weren't here for our pre-show, we talked about that Taeyoon actually has the highest damage share
Ambessa?
out of all 80 carries in his role this split so far. But good call, Matt. Ambessa
Mm-hmm.
is open, and a lot of the normal counter picks that have emerged as an answer to Ambessa are now gone. No Gwen, obviously, from the first game. No Rumble, and no Renekton, since LGD got rid of it in their table of bans.
No Jace either, so gotta believe that it's gonna be something creative with a Poppy or even just a Talia being grabbed. It's a bit of a deny from XQW as well, is his most played in this split, and will be snagged by Karis. Very highly contested champion between both of them, and Nautilus along with it. So Dredge Line, Depth Charge, already a lot of combos you can prep with the rocks and the flick.
LGD could look to counterpick their support option here in the first round if they fear some options getting banned away by WE going into the second round of bans. XQW, though, going to go to an old reliable staple in the Azir. And Climber just going to go for the next best skirmishing AD jungler, which is a lot of teams consider Xin Zhao. There are some other options available as well, but WE might not get a chance to pick them up if they decide to lock in their counterpick choice in the Aatrox.
Yeah, of course, Aatrox is a win. Was a part of that comp that Cube played into EDG. And frankly, it's already somewhat set up decently well this game. As Xin, one-way direction, Aatrox can sometimes make it tricky on Azir to just sit in auto. Might be able to actually harass and pressure. So I think it's a decent look for Cube to grab the Aatrox. Of course, with top lane secured, all eyes going to be on the bot lane and also on the mid lane, or I should say the jungle, sorry, for Monki. As you got to imagine that LGD is going to throw some bans to protect the Xin. I wouldn't mind a Sejuani ban, frankly. Just something that can kind of neutralize in, play off Aatrox a little bit. And is really stable in the jungle for Monki. And then also, I mean, if they want to get really creative with it. Oh, wow. Actually banning out the Jax jungle. A little bit surprised to see that, Raafaa.
Like it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see it in Monkey's match history. Definitely not this year, but I don't know, maybe in the LDL, he might have played a Jax jungle into a Xin counterpick at some point, right?
Yeah.
So they just want to eliminate that option. I think the other junglers you're looking at to take away from Monkey would be either Wukong, or Viego, if you're concerned about Monkey being another damage threat.
I wouldn't mind a Viego ban here. I think that with the Nautilus Talia, Viego can just sometimes, be that, pop, get first reset and win the fight from there. That's a nice pop showing for Team WE. So yeah, that said, they are going to take away the Wukong. So another pick from Monki. No Monkey for Monkey. And of course, Viego being looked at, Raafaa. So I got to say, I think depending on the ADs, I will say I think Viego actually fits better. I would have rather seen that ban. That said, if Shaoye wants to pick an AD that's especially vulnerable to Wukong, would understand that ban coming out. But at the moment, we'd love to see, honestly, an Ashe or any sort of supportive champion to try and shut down this Viego. I think picks could be really valuable for LGD going up against a Nautilus, an Aatrox, and a Viego.
Yeah, and it's not like you're pressed for damage on the side of LGD. You have plenty of threat
like Ashe.
potential from Ambessa.
Ashe Braum, baby. Yep.
Yeah.
Good
CC,
pick.
that's the Freljord combo right there. Now, how does Taeyoon actually bring this composition together? Because they've left counterpick up to the very last choice here, and that's something that we don't see that often. But would it actually be Ziggs here for Taeyoon? I guess it's going to be.
I gotta say, like, they don't win the DPS fights, so I think relying on poke and playing the map, not bad. That said, I don't like the draft for a few different aspects. I really don't like the fact that Ashe Braum was let through. I think that Braum, with the Xin Zhao into Aatrox, Viego, and then you have a Nautilus showing, could be really, really valuable this game. That said, the Ziggs Talia is a way to actually really nerf that. But I think that LGD's comp a little bit easier to execute Team WE, they don't have that reliable DPS late game AD carry later on, so just really important that they're able to play another game where they're clean on the map early. If not, they will get outscaled by what LGD is showing.
There's a lot of faith being put into Monkey's Viego because from your mid lane and your AD carry, as you called it, no sustained damage, but it's a ton of burst damage. So if you can get the resets essentially jump started by a Mega Inferno Bomb or a Talia combo onto one target, that can guarantee you the numbers advantage. And as we've seen in multiple competitive games across multiple regions, if a Viego gets resets, then any game state can be made winning no matter what the circumstances are once the Viego is just possessing and possessing and possessing in these team fights. I'm curious what you think about Aatrox in this position though, because is there a chance that like Cube could go absolutely ballistic into what they're setting up, or is there just too much utility, too much crowd control from the side of LGD?
I think the Ashe Braum Zin makes it a little bit harder. That said, I mean, again, just going to be really important that whatever shotgun engage comes out from Team WE, they just have to get a reset on the Monki.
Yeah.
And of course, if that doesn't work, then Cube maybe in the long fight be a little bit better later on. But I just think that at the moment, like everything just relies on a Viego reset, because that's the one chance that you have to actually win a long fight.
Well, if we had
Team WE just doesn't win this draft, I guess,
I mean, if WE are putting their faith anywhere, it's in the fact that Monki was able to pretty much win his spot for WE after at least picking up one game win over anyone's legend during the Split 1 group stage. And it was on the Viego. It was a insane carry performance. Monki being able to get the official promotion and call-up from Tier 2 and going now trying to play and help bring WE at least into one more chance, one step closer into playing for Group Ascend. We've got a level 2 or level 1 all in, but Monki and Karis are here first, and I think they realize that Shaoye is in trouble without the rest of Monki and Karis needing to be there. That's a flash gone out of Shaoye's Ashe, and Taeyoon and Vampire are set up for success in this level 2-man duo here.
Somehow he held his pot throughout all that, as the Braum's going to take some damage to try and be in range. The first 3 melees going down, but importantly, Shaoye is not, so he is forced out of lane. And with the Ziggs not, I mean, you could maybe get this lane to the turret and actually really punish the Ashe. There could be a lot missing here. That said, with Monki being spotted, we have a bit of a cheesy start from Climber. So he's going to go from blue to red and actually deny Viego a little bit of his top side. That's really going to hurt Monki and set that Viego that we set so much importance on before this game started in the draft. It's going to set it behind pretty good.
Yeah, and he should be able to hit level 3 off of these Krugs too. And because he places a ward down and he does not touch the Raptors at all, Monki is not going to know that his red buff and Krugs are gone until he completes the Raptors. So there's a huge window where Climber can actually do whatever he wants on the map. He can look for an easy gank on the cube, and Monki is not going to have enough time to react and make an appropriate punishment.
He's just getting the bad news. Cube is too, and now he's walking into Climber.
Yep. Cube, more than likely, will have to flash, and that's now a summoner advantage guaranteed for Shasha in the top lane, as now Monki is going to want to try and see if he can contest the top side of the map against Climber, but his top laner just lost flash, so he's not going to have prio to help move in with him to make that invade possible.
He's got nothing to do. This is actually really tough here. If you are the Viego, he's going to cross through mid and just go fight for this bot crab and see what he can take away from Climber. Climber, I think intelligently actually skipped over his Gromp. Is going to do the Wolves, so he might actually be able to get in here and contest. But with how far behind his bot lane was and still is from the start.
Oh, no. You should know that Vampire's moving. Ah, Climber! I don't know if he's not talking to his bot lane, but they had the shove in, and maybe he just figured that YCX was going to be able to match the roam time from Vampire, but Nautilus is there first, and it's first blood for WE.
What happened to the LGD I loved from Split 1, man? That was... We saw that one coming from a mile away, Raafaa. Like, you can obviously be nice to get in there and contest, but just how your bot lane went, I think making the map vertical early on was probably the right call.
Yeah.
And the fact that Climber didn't want to give that up, it really hurts now, because guess what? He hasn't even secured a crab yet, and that really nice start opener that he had in the Monki, we're like, oh, like, you know, bot lane got chunked, but it's fine. You set Viego behind, it's great. All that's gone to the wayside, and Monkey's up after the first clear.
Yeah, Monkey's like, cool, man. You took my red buff, you took my Krugs. I just got first blood, and I just took the red buff that you stole from me, as well as your own red buff that you didn't take early on in the opener. So, yeah, Monkey is eating good. Now, it's only 1,000 gold advantage for WE. It's from a jungle morale standpoint, it can feel pretty condemning, especially in Xin Zhao's position, but you still have ways to play out the game from LGD side. Like, Shasha still has a summoner spell advantage on the top side. XQW is doing fine.
You have a DPS marksman versus no DPS marksman. And the little, you know, like, graph before that the LPL flies that shows, you know, game win rate throughout time duration of the game, it showed that LGD actually never lose, you know? It's always a flip. So that's how you confirm that they won draft, huh? And now they're losing, so the graph lied. And it must be player diff. Or graph diff, you know? I'm really getting out there with this one, Raafaa.
Yeah. It's
That's
okay.
fine.
You know what? I'm with you on that one. I would also like to look for many ways to get my daily intake of copium.
Yes, I mean, I also think it's player diff, because considering that Climber just walked into 2, and
you know what's actually strange? I don't know how Climber lost his flash, because he lost his flash super early on. I guess we weren't paying attention. Meanwhile,
I think he flashed over the wall to do red buff.
Oh, you know what? That makes sense.
Yeah, I think he got around a ward. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
which I like.
Oh,
I do not know.
Okay. YCX is there to block it, but he's gonna take a lot of damage from Karis and Vampire on the re-entry. XQW is under a lot of pain right now, and the fact that Karis and Vampire are able to guarantee first move, this is gonna set up WE nicely to get pretty much all of these grubs. No way that Climber can get in, no way that the rest of the ensemble can help assist for at least one smite steal away. Never mind, I lied. Looks like LGD were able to at least snag one at the beginning before the rest of WE rotated in to take out the final two. But WE so far playing a decent map game.
Yeah, I mean, the siege is on, and look at this. Because of the bot pressure that Taeyoon's putting down, the Ziggs into the Ash Braum. Vampire coming up here to help support and invade from Monki. We're going to flip over the Raptors. Karis.
The wall. They're all caught, and the flick is good, but not enough damage because YCX throws up that big door and is able to block a lot of crucial damage that WE were looking for to get the resets going on Monkey's Viego.
Yeah, and I do like the Ziggs pick. I know that, like, pretty much you're signing up as Team WE that you couldn't win a DPS war against what LGD had, so you're going to try and play for something different. But this Braum pick is going to be so valuable this game, regardless, because that damage mitigation and just playing off the winner's might, playing defensively with this draft, is exactly what LGD wants and needs with this Ashe Azir. If they just kind of turtle up, you know, play with Braum and let WE come into them and don't get blown up by anything initial, it should be okay, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be the game plan. If you are LGD, that said, still behind early, big goal deficit, and it's going to snowball into more neutral objectives as Monkey going to take this dragon. And frankly, with the comp that LGD has and where the game's at right now with both jungle and AD being so far behind, you got to get both. We'll see what happens with the second Grubs and what LGD is going to be able to get, but I think you're kind of waiting to even think about second Drake here. It's going to be a lot of game time before LGD can come online.
Yeah, LGD are just hoping that WE are merciful and only just taking objectives and not actually trying to starve them out with resources, which, you know, given previous expectations of WE, I think would be a safe say that you could reliably get that. But I don't know. The WE that showed up in game 1 today has been the most confident we've ever seen.
It's going to go over 2 control wards. 1, 2.
Does it hit?
Oh.
Dude, he dashed forward and saw the arrow just pass right in front of him. My pants would be brown now, but you know what? You know, solid cubed to be able to really be able to dodge out of what could have been bad scenario there.
I mean, I feel like that'd be worth yellow, not brown. But I'm gonna move on from this point. As Shaoye still catching the back half of some Taeyoon bombs.
I'm glad.
No vamp yet on the Ashe. Looks like it's going to be a Kraken start. Of course, we have seen the Yuntals a bit from Ashes as well. I got to be honest, I don't know what makes you decide between Yuntals and Kraken yet. I think the Yuntals is definitely stronger later on once you get that evolved. And Sasi is going to pretend that Monkey's not here. As Ambessa... I will say Ambessa is pretty good at absorbing ganks at the top. I know we're still learning a lot about Ambessa as a champion, but having all those mini dashes, the slow and a shield, as well as that ultimate that goes unstoppable. A lot of potential to get out there for Ambessa, so definitely a slippery target in the top side. Oh.
That was cold from Taeyoon. Just waiting until the very end, trying to see if he would have enough burst to actually kill Shaoye, but he exchanges his barrier to make sure that he is not under critical condition. However, oh my god, Vampire, just send it. Just send it. Damn.
You know, if he had a Hex Flash, I think he might have and should have.
Yeah,
well,
he's going to tank up the entrance. Yeah, I mean, I think he's just buying space for
Oh,
Taeyoon. Oh,
wait.
no, he's got reinforced with the Avengers! Really nice shuffle, though, from XQW. Pushes WE on the other side of that wall. And now here comes the rest of the on-squad from LGD. They're pushing on through. Monki was not able to get the resets, and that means this composition just completely falls apart. XQW flashing forward to help proc the concussive blows procced by YCX. And Taeyoon will fall to the backstab of XQW. LGD just need one moment and rip a hole in WE.
It's a 3v4 win for LGD, and it's off the back of that defensive identity that we were talking about with the Braum. But man, the disengage there from XQW. A huge Emperor's Device. We're going to catch the replay. Here comes the opener. I was a bit surprised that WE actually took this one. Vampire burns his Aftershock early, tanks up a lot, but that's a nice two-man depth charge. Sets up for Karis. But Monki, he can't get any combo off because it was denied by the Emperor's Divide. And that creates a front-to-back where Monki, Vampire were already chunked. Taeyoon burned stuff to get Shaoye out. And they just get ran down by the Braum.
3v4, by the way. The arrow didn't even connect because XQW pushed them away from the arrow's trajectory, but it didn't matter. The battle lines were set for success. And even an Azir with, I don't even know if he had an Ashes Tooth at this point, but just an Azir this early was able to pump out that kind of damage against WE squad. I think that's just a sign of things to come the later this game goes.
Yeah, that's devastating for Team WE and what they want to do with this draft. Because keep in mind, they do not want to take DPS fights, right? They need to have the Talia combos be big. They need to have Monki find these resets. And again, it's going up against such a defensive identity that LGD were showing with the Azir. I mean, potentially, obviously, Azir can be flexible, but again, that's kind of why I just didn't like the fact they left up Ashe Braum. Like, if you're playing into Leona or Rel, that champion, you know, wants to go in, and Braum just has so many defensive pros in his kit. Really saw it there, paired up with XQW, who was really the stud of that fight. I mean, every LGD member, I feel like, involved there. You just went out of 3v4. They all played that one pretty damn well, but you can really see the issues that Team WE is going to face if that shotgun, that first use of spells, doesn't ring true.
Yeah. I'm not sure at what point LGD were able to get the second round of grubs, but I almost want to say that as soon as
right
they
out of there,
yeah, right after the play on the bot side of the map, they just sped right on over to the grubs, got 4 for themselves total. XQW gonna punish now Karis, who does not have a flash from the previous engage. YCX being able to tank up the counterattack from WE to guarantee that at least XQW takes out Karis. He might be in trouble. The arrow goes wide once again, but XQW still pumping out damage before he eventually does go down, but Monki traded out with him, and LGD still have a spot, or a chance, I should say, to actually stop WE from looking for a dragon, since they'll have smite advantage.
I mean, first the Emperor wins a 3v4, and then he walks out with 2, and what, a 2v4? It's a huge game for XQW, who I really feel like has been the one on LGD that struggled the most as an individual compared to what we saw from Split 1, but backs up against the wall, the LDL champion for LGD that was promoted with this team, stepping up big in this game. as it will be a trade. Of course, first brick does go over to Team WE in the bot side, but it is a 4-grub push for Sasi in the top side on this Mbessa. Going to get at least kind of close to wrapping up this turret. Mid's also close to fall, so only one substantial turret falls in terms of WE, but down numbers yet again. XQW comes up big as this Emperor's Divine helps delete Karis with the help of YCX, and then just standing true and firing on the Monki, who again with this Braum, so much CC coming in, that's so easy to proc from these auto attackers around this champion. So LGD again getting a lot of mileage out of this pick. Now Karis.
And Karis still doesn't have flash, so Shaoye tries to go for the punish with the public execution climber, almost in range, looking for the wind becomes lightning, lands it true, but the unraveled earth, it would be unwise to dash through it and get stunned under the turret, so climber does not opt in to continue the dive.
Yeah, they are giving up the dragon, and because bot outer fell, they did have one timer to at least, you know, opt in sacking that wave to look for something up top that will lead to the turret falling. That said, I actually don't really like this play from LGD, because you're going to see Climber. He had no camps to take on the top side against Monki. All of his camps were on this bot side, Raafaa, and Monki's just going to be able to get in here and take them all.
He is massively ahead in terms of the jungle CS. I don't think YCX yoinked the red buff away with that Winter's Bite. Yeah. But LGD continue the siege on the top side, net themselves a tier 1 in that lane, and for them, at least for the time being, LGD will have the pressure advantage to at least set up vision control for this upcoming Rift Herald. Could be a big win.
I'd say I was expecting it to be the Kraken on Ashe. Could it be the Shiv to try and match some of the wave clear from the Ziggs? Obviously, a lot more utility and power outside of the fights instead of in on that first item from Shaoye, but he is getting peppered by the Ziggs. Can't understand wanting to have the Shiv to not be on the wave for quite as much time against this champion.
Yeah.
But for sure, sacking some late game power as they're going to try and bait Vampire in.
Vampire holds his cool, does not blindly queue into darkness, and is able to at least get intel that there were a lot of people waiting in that line brush. Monkey is able to slip on through the upper lip. And they have vision now of the Rift Herald, knowing that it's below 7,000 HP. Good arrow by Shaoye. And here comes the CC train. Karis tries to flash away, and he is dead again anyway. WE now working without a man, 4v5. But good damage, but Taeyoon almost looks for it, but XQW gets exposed as the simple flash on the Ziggs is able to get away from the engage, and Shaoye tries to bail it out or salvage the play, but it just goes worse, and WE benefit off of a couple fumbles from LGD.
Raafaa, my palms have hit my face as I'm not exactly sure what XQW was thinking there with that engage. Just so split by LGD. Climber was on the objective / wanted to take it. Shaoye is pretty low, and then he just kind of goes in solo, trades a flash for the flash of Ziggs, and ends up going down, baits in Sasi too to try and help him out, and the objective falls. Again, I think they keep things kind of neutral. It's okay, as we're going to see a nice CC chain onto Karis. Karis, of course, did have flash up. This is chained up beautifully by YCX, and Winter's Bite was on the Talia. Flash hits, doesn't flash away. This is the next part of the fight I'm kind of curious about. It's good peppering coming in from Taeyoon, but I don't know what compelled XQW to go for a play like this. Just lines up perfectly for Vampire's depth charge. Sasi goes in to try and help or save him, but ends up getting knocked around by Cube on the Aatrox, and a pretty uninspiring play from an LGD that was inspiring earlier, but kind of fall on their own laurels there.
Yeah. Well, once again, the game is even between these two teams. It definitely seemed like off of the two bot plays involving XQW that LGD were starting to make way with a building snowball, and that the Z0 was going to be completely untouched. And then, yeah, it happens. So now we're kind of on even parity in terms of win conditions. It's still the same story as, okay, nice attempt from XQW, was trying to clip Karis in his Weaver's Wall, but now teleports are coming in from the rest of WE, seeing if they can actually collapse. And yeah, because XQW went for the pick on the Karis, he was in Super Narnia, and no way for LGD to bail him out of that one. So now WE 5-man to 4-man advantage on the map. There's no immediate objectives that they can go for since Dragon and Otacon still don't spawn for another 50 seconds, but maybe they can get something in the mid lane with this Rift Herald.
I feel like XQW is trying to do so much where, again, as Azir, like, we saw the fights going well earlier on because he was absorbing, right? People were coming into him. It's not him trying to go make plays. And now, of course, Ziggs plus a Rift Herald, that means that one of your turrets falls. Don't care how many grubs you have. It's going to go down. As, again, I will say a 3K gold lead at this point for Team WE. That's about what this comp needs. I'd say this is somewhat on pace. They still need to keep the pace up. It's LGD keeping the pace up. XQW.
Speaking of Super Narnia, XQW teleported in, but again, just a simple flash from Cube is able to get away, and he's got Taeyoon and Vampire in his back pocket just in case they wanted to overextend for it.
Dragon is spawning. I think that's what compelled XQW to actually TP in because it does force Cube out. There's no TP, so this should be Dragon going over to LGD.
Yeah, Cube does not have teleport. They're burning it down super quickly. Monki is nowhere to be seen since he was taking camps on the other side of the map, which I would have done the same thing, to be honest. But WE now trying to force the fight. Death Charge goes right onto XQW, stops the damage output for now. Shasha forced to flash backwards into the safety of his team. YCX trying to stand behind or in front of the rest of the squad. YCX tries to go in, but he got stunned on the entrance to the Unraveled Earth. Karis being able to put a stop to the LDL Champions' aspirations and fighting for a spot into the Ascend group. And WE are just running away with the fight. The flash forward from Monki gets another reset. Shasha does not get a chance to escape with the TP. This just might be game over for LGD.
I know that you want to deny the soul point, deny the dragon, but Team WE did such a nice job on that setup, just corralling LGD. They cut off the exit to mid, forced them down on the map, and that fight, again, it was XQW trying to go in, make a difference with the Shurima Shuffle, gets caught out by Karis in the Unraveled Earth. And this Azir that was so big early on, Raafaa, he was 3-1-1 after that 3v4 where they wiped. He's died 3 times pretty much in a row on the map and is now so far behind Karis as XQW just wasn't able to step up and be the carry this game, was trying to do too much with too little. Again, we're taking another look. It's key that they're able to at least try and be defensive here. As Shosa going in, doesn't find anything. Again, that was over Unraveled Earth itself, and then the second Unraveled Earth is going to stop the Azir as XQW was not quite able to get away from that one. The Shurima Shuffle was able to be followed up on because Taeyoon had such a brilliant angle on the Ziggs over the wall, just peppering the rest of LGD, which got them so low in the first place.
I think the best part for me that rubs the salt in the wound is just the TP not able to fully channel off in time, the last auto attack. And now WE find themselves with a 5,000 gold advantage against LGD. Just what seems like 10 minutes after what could have been a massive snowball from LGD being able to, through the hands of XQW, pull off 2 back-to-back massive fights down numbers. But WE now find themselves in position to be able to secure the next big objectives on the map without strong contest from LGD. Because now you have to fight through choke points with Ziggs E, Talia E. And it's just so damn hard for the side of LGD to be able to walk up.
Yeah, and this is where the identity of having the Ziggs, having the Talia can be so oppressive for LGD. As you can see, WE grouped up. They have the GA from Otacon available to them if they want to use it, and Monki actually on an angle. He's 2 levels up on QW, by the way. Monki has been just power farm. He's the highest level in the game right now, Raafaa.
Yeah, I mean, this is 2 games where it seems like Monki has been able to get everything that he ever wanted in a carry jungle position, which a lot of teams throughout Split 2 did a successful job in denying Monki those kind of reigns, but not the case in this series from LGD. Their priorities were elsewhere in trying to get other things done, and we're now a minute and a half away. 3rd dragon spawning. Yes, LGD did stop Dragon Soul from basically being contestable at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't know how LGD are going to be able to actually stop them from taking this one.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say this is a Hextech Soul, another great draw for WE. You're telling me that they get Hextech Soul on the game where it's the poke comp, they have to get away from the Ashe Azir later on. Having those extra slows, that utility could be massive if the game does go that late. As WE, again, really impressed with them today, Rafa. I
Yeah.
feel like LGD is, you know, at points definitely beating themselves, but I mean, this is a bold strategy to play. You have to play fast, and losing a 3v4, tripping up on yourself like that, that's to bounce back like this. XQW, you know, definitely had a few helping moments as he dashed in, but still, nice. The WE, we're asking to see who steps up with the stakes being quite high. Again, you are playing for your World's Opportunity life here in a way, right? If you make it to Group Ascend, you ensure that you will be able to compete for Worlds.
Yeah, and we've already given a little bit of praise to Monki and Vampire for their performances in both Game 1 and in a little bit of Game 2. But I really have to single out Cube and Karis for, even if Karis in particular, his KDA doesn't look the prettiest, he's been so useful. He's been so crucial in just stopping and punishing a lot of LGD's plays that they've been setting up. Granted, were they the smartest? Probably not. Definitely bold choices by XQW to go in, but the walls have been pretty damn good in stifling what LGD wanted to do. The Unraveled Earth has been placed well to stop any threats trying to close the distance and get onto Taeyoon in the back line. And Cube, I mean, it's been remarkably solid. This is, again, a game where he had flash burned early on. Shasha made no use of that advantage whatsoever. He still went up in CS anyway. And now he's 4-0-2 on this Aatrox as the arrow, unfortunately for LGD, going to go wide. Taeyoon can just sidestep it.
No, and I mean, even going into the series, Rolf, I was saying, like, hey, I think that Cube and... Oh, hold on, pause. Engage, Climber.
XQW tries to step forward. Vampire forced to flash away. Climber steps on forward to YCX. Tries to double down with the Glacial Fissure, but here comes the wall, and it cuts off the backline from being able to get in. Shasha now finds Karis, but he pops the Golden Stasis, and now Monki has the reset. He's looking. Climber. Oh, W flash to close the distance, and now he's the Braum. He's going to aid the fight with the concussive blows. We're walking up with Cube. There is the Darkened Blade as he sails right into the hearts of LGD. Any hopes that may have had have been dashed away and broken by Monki and the rest of WE. This squad is on a roll.
Gonna turn their heads to the Baron. Will be a slower take as two. I think Taeyoon's got to go assist him, but he's gonna clean up the turret first. W continues to cruise, and again, this fight, like the terrain they're taking in, they're the ones that have access to the river. Most of the fight actually ended up taking place in that choke where you see that red team ward. As we're gonna take a second look, so much was used on the Vampire. He's just a Nautilus, right, Rafa? And I gotta say, Karis, this wall from him was beautiful. It really took away Shaoye from actually joining this fight, and also trapped XQW on the other side of it. So now everyone's kind of stuck in this choke. Ashe, Azir can't do much. Monki gets one reset, and then Monki runs away with it with the help of Cube in the front line. Really like the re-engage that Cube took here on the top side. Get a little bit of a reset from the Aatrox. Finds a really nice Q1 to the Q2. Found two members with each. Helped make sure that Monki had the space to get back in. Cube going down, well worth his life as W cleaned up the rest of the fight.
Yeah. Just a small note of appreciation, too, for Monki. He had prepped the Braum shield, and then because he goes back into Viego with Heartbreaker, the shield stays up, so he's, like, blocking even more damage, just optimizing his use of each possession. Obviously, did he really need the shield to win that fight? Probably not, but just these are the small things that I appreciate about, you know, high peak Viego gameplay. As WE now 8,000 gold ahead against LGD. GA on Monki with Baron buff on his side.
Level 17.
God, I mean, this
He's 3 levels up on everyone but Shaoye.
Dude, like,
should have been the Viego,
man.
Wukong ban? That looks good right now.
You know, Neferi and Viego. Monki basically got the dream carry junglers to put WE in a position to get one step closer to fighting their way into Group Ascend. They still have to close out this game, though, but I imagine that they are just one more good fight from putting the last nail in the coffin
Yeah.
for LGD and banishing them to the Nirvana realm.
I will say, if WE were to, play it chill to make sure they get Hex Nexel, I'd actually appreciate that. At the moment, though, gonna get
This is
Sin
not
alt
very chill.
Climber.
This is not chill. This is not chill. Climber
Yeah.
pops the ultimate. Super bomb from Taeyoon as it damages the backline. YCX forced to retreat. Inhibitor tower has been felled, but they can't quite step up and finish off the inhibitor. They're going to take bases now as we're about a minute away from Soul Point being available for the taking.
I would really like this. I do like this from WE. Again, there is a scaling issue when you go up against a marksman when you do not have one. You don't win a raw DPS fight. You have to be very disciplined about how you control space, control terrain. What better soul to spawn than Hex Soul to help you do that? It is a great draw yet again from Team WE, and a good opportunity to get a clean reset, overtake this bot side jungle, and make sure this Hex Soul goes over to their pockets cleanly.
And look at the boldness that WE get to be able to walk into the jungle freely. They know they have the wall of differences. It's almost 10,000. It is actually 10,000 gold advantage for WE. They own the space. There's no way that LGD should ever be able to walk in freely into the jungle quadrant. They have to play through mid lane, of course, with the wave pushing in. WE have now full control of the bot side, where someone will have to answer Cube, and WE can play this as patiently as possible. They're not in a rush to burn down this dragon. They can keep LGD occupied as long as possible, and Cube, instead of going for the open base, he is going for the long flank. Shaoye, massive damage from the Mega Inferno Ball as they all try to turn on to the Aatrox and see if they can take out the World Ender before he ends their world. But Karis flying into the backline completes absolute pandemonium, and the Monki resets are pouring in once again as Shaoye falls. LGD will also fall. WE have dashed their hopes into group ascension. They have been banished to Nirvana, and WE will have one more chance to join the ranks of the top squads in LPL.
And odds we get a second series where Monki gets both the Fury and Viego. I'm going to put those at less than 10%. I feel like if Up's doing their homework, not going to happen again. But congrats to Team WE as they continue to, again, be a team that we had in Group Nirvana. We figured that they'd just be the 4 seed that get placed there. To top of LGD like that, a team that, frankly, I had pretty high hopes for. I was saying they were likely to be a team that maybe could sneak through their group or be a 3 seed that I wouldn't want to face. Really bummed to see LGD just fall so flat right off the bat in this one and be that Group Nirvana team. This was a team that we had some expectations for after Split 1. We're hoping to really see them scale as a lot of rookies that were coming from LDL. Rookies that won LDL as a core as well, but it just feels like the swaps being gone hurt them. And I mean, regardless of the state that the game's in, they're not playing together on the same page and not taking great plays. It's really quite a bummer to see, but good to see WE at least punish that and have a couple drafts where I think they showed some nice creativity there with the Viego finding the Talia Ziggs to help out and enable Monki to really pop off in the series.
Yeah, I mean, the benefit for us as not just casters, but really fans and spectators of this league, we want to see good gameplay. And, going into the series, we were like, well, we know we're not going to get, the best levels out of both of these squads, but, we had, higher expectations for one squad. It didn't turn out that way, but you know what? The other squad that we had lower expectations for overperformed today. And now it has raised our benchmark of what we feel like this team can accomplish. And a lot of the hopes that were surrounding Monki in particular when he first replaced Tianjin going into Split 2 were a little underwhelming based on the group stage play and the double round robin. But today showed up big time. Did he get, ideal picks? Yes, he did. But did he waste those opportunities? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed by WE, and I gotta say, the next series, I just want to see if Ultra Prime puts more of a defense up against them, because it's, again, that wasn't really something that I was expecting coming into the day. I thought it would be LGD 2-0, 2-1, beating WE. I really had faith this team would be able to pull it together, but just not playing together as a squad, and even like at this level of LPL, we're fighting to see if you're in the bottom group or not. You don't bring your A game, you're gonna get punished. And that's exactly what happened today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm low-key stoked that we're in a timeline where Vampire's in form. like, oh my god,
He looked good. Yeah, he looked good.
Taeyoon has a support. Let's go. Taeyoon is not the LeBron James mean of no help. He doesn't have the 1v9. I mean, we didn't even point it out in the first game damage chart, but the fact that Taeyoon wasn't in the 30% damage share, and Cube had the highest damage share in the first game on the Rumble, that's a good sign for WE. That is exactly where you want to be.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say a chance for them to really prove that they are exactly where they want to be in that group ascend with our second series later on today. Going up against Ultra Prime. Excited for that one, Raafaa. I know that we won't be on the cast for that, but excited to watch that one as a fan as we take a look at the match history. And Taeyoon, he was gifted a pretty nice lead after that level 1, forced Shaoye out, and he really ran with it in that game as it was a big one for Taeyoon. I know that you'll like the fact that, he's boosting up that damage share, right?
Yeah.
That stat's going up. Number 1 of the league just keeps on going up.
Like 38%. I mean, there's a reason why, like, going into the series, we were talking so much about, like, Taeyoon being the brightest star on this roster.
Yeah.
And, the way that this game played out, it almost seemed like those efforts were going to be all for naught, and we were on the way to a game 3, but the way they recovered, the way their, essentially their fortitude was tested, and they rose to the occasion, really impressive to see. And even though, Taeyoon is dominating the damage profile charts in this game, I don't think it was, to a fault for WE. It was just...
No, he was playing Ziggs, it just happens. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like he's really, the champs he's played this split, it's been Varus, Ezreal, Corki, Ziggs. It's like, I mean, he's might just be playing the league to boost that number up, Those are like some of the highest damage share champs you can have, especially in pro where, a little bit less action, but poke always matters because outrange people do damage. Why not? As we get to watch the beginning of the demise for LGD, is I still just cannot believe what XQW was doing. I can't believe that I said I felt like the solo lanes would be advantageous for LGD going into the series. And I just watched XQW and Shaoye do that in that.
Yeah,
there's no bueno.
I mean, if you're LGD fans, I cannot imagine your disappointment. I just genuinely, and I'm not trying to be harsh.
I am disappointed. Yeah. I had hopes for this team. I really did. I had them. I wouldn't say I fully believed them to get out of the group, but I know I put in my predictions for the groups that they would get out, right? Have some fun with it. I really felt like LGD had a chance, like enough where I was kind of, I usually pick what I think, but that was definitely a hard pick, and they have now officially broken my heart in Group Nirvana. Well, actually, they will break my heart if I don't see them in summer.
I mean,
still sad about that, but they are not playing like they deserve to play in summer right now, if I'm going to be honest.
They broke your heart. Monki broke their hearts on the Viego, and it's all part of the cycle.
Oh, well played. Yeah, heartbreak. Okay, yeah. Nice.
I'm here every Wednesday. Actually, I don't know what our schedule is like for once we get into the...
I'm here a lot this next week.
I know you are. I took a look at your schedule. I was like, damn, Cubby's working.
Kelsey Pingbeach,
you are really embracing the
yeah, Kelsey Pingbeach is like, look, I know you to put yourself at like 1 or 2 a week. I need you this week. And I was like, all right, looks like my schedule is just going to be doomed. It's fine. We'll cast some LPL games and have fun.
Just letting you know, chatters, if you're a Cubby fan, you're getting to eat good. And if you are not a Cubby fan, well, too bad.
I'll work on it, guys.
Yeah. we are, I guess we're awaiting the player of the game at this point. You know what?
It's Monki.
Yeah. I mean,
we thought it could have been Vampire. We almost, if we had votes, I would have voted for Vampire.
Oh, okay, low key.
In the last one.
I would put Karis low key. It's probably gonna be Monki, but I would put Karis.
It's Monki. Yeah. It's Monki.
Okay.
I would have put Taeyoon before Karis.
Sure.
I thought Taeyoon played really well actually that game.
I was just really impressed with the timings of the Unraveled Earth from Karis because it stopped a lot of engages and the walls were good. So
Tui strong, man. It's a pick where I feel like people don't like to play it in solo queue because it's kind of clunky to lane with. It's like different skills. You got to be really good in your movement. But by God, that Unraveled Earth and that Weaver's Wall at a high level, if you get any sort of setup off with that, it is an OP champion. That is for sure. Speaking of OP champs, how about Viego with a reset? Hmm?
Yeah.
You a fan, Rafa?
Oh, I mean, I would
I know
think
you're a
good.
fan.
I
Yeah.
I I love seeing good Viego gameplay, man. That's just uh yeah. No other thoughts. Honestly, you know what? Before we close out the series and start swapping over to our next caster pair for our next series between WE and Ultra Prime, I had something queued up, but we never got to see an Ezreal, and I don't care. We're still sending it because check this out. I mean, before then, Ezreal had a 20% win rate. And at some point during the broadcast, when Slayer was casting it, he mentioned, guys, I think Ezreal needs buffs, So, that I clearly graphic design is my passion, as you can see. I put my heart and soul into this. If you hate it, screw you. Art is art, and this should be in the Louvre. Uh,
I just like okay, we need to kill that phrase first off. Second off, I just like this because I feel like Slayer's face is actually something of like of a like delivery guy. Just like, here's your food, man. It's fine.
it
He put
it
the fries
fits
in the
so
bag.
well.
It
It
the
fits
face actually fits really well, yeah.
you know what this face also would fit well with? The template for the most interesting man meme from back in the
Really?
day.
Because for me, it's like the James Franco one where, like he's in the guillotine like first time. And I feel like that's me as an LGD fan now singing the lower bracket. It's like, hmm?
Well,
Hmm?
if you guys are Slayer enthusiasts, lucky for you, all, Slayer is actually casting next, and so we just
All right.
wanted to get some playful banter because this is how much we adore and love Slayer. Just being able to really shine and adapt well to the pace of LPL and the Nocturnal